All right, everybody, it's time to talk about Ghost of Tsushima. Now, a lot of people have been asking me to talk about this, obviously because of the Helldivers 2 debacle that happened and how Sony tried to pull a bait and switch sort of with not allowing, the requirement of Steam linking and then all of a sudden having to force it 3 months later after the game get popular. You guys already know the entire story regarding Helldivers, but apparently Ghost of Tsushima is the next battleground. Now, it's not a battleground for the same exact reasons, because I will be very clear, Sony has been upfront about this game from day one, as they should have been from before. So you can't have that same argument with Ghost of Tsushima, but what's happening right now is that they have removed the game from all the countries that does not have PSN because they're requiring the linking of Steam to PSN in order to play the game on multiplayer.
You have done that yourself.
Now, apparently what's going down is that Steam has started to auto-refund players who purchase Ghost of Tsushima because of the PSN requirements. Now, it's amazing to me because apparently it's not required to link your account in order to play the game's single-player experience, which is what most people are purchasing the game for. But apparently, regardless of that fact, they are still removing the game from those countries, even though you may not want to play the multiplayer experience. Now, you cannot necessarily blame Steam because it's, number one, it's coming from Sony. Sony's probably the one that's saying, hey, let's remove this stuff. And number two, people need to be able to get the full experience in order to be able to say they bought the full game. If you cannot play the multiplayer experience, but you can play the single player experience, yeah, that's going to be a big problem. So let's get into this article, guys, from The Gamer. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So the headline reads, Steam auto refunds Ghost of Tsushima pre-orders over PSN requirements. Multiple Steam users say that they've been giving automatic refunds for Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut as Sony's PSN drama continues. Multiple Steam users who pre-ordered Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut say that they're receiving automatic refunds, those affected live in areas that can't access PSN and would therefore be locked out of the online multiplayer mode. This comes after it was confirmed that anyone wanting to play Ghost of Tsushima's PC port online would have to link to a PSN account. In response, Steam delisted the game in more than 150 countries, just as it had done with Helldivers 2 when that was also poised to receive the requirements. Now, anyone who had already pre-ordered is already getting their money back and won't be able to purchase it again. Now, this is a big deal for me, and the reason why it's a big deal is because you gotta imagine from a company standpoint, how is this going to genuinely increase your chance of a game being more successful, right? You gotta imagine if you're trying to force PC players to link their accounts to PSN, and that PSN is not going to give you really any kind of revenue. I can't imagine people buying anything on PSN when they're using PC as their preferred platform. So it's not about money. It's not about garnering any increased income. I'll tell you what it's about. It's about getting your data. They want to take your data and sell it. That's how they're going to get revenue from having you link your accounts. But people don't want to do that very clearly. And then you have to think about, okay, so how much money are they getting from selling your data where they're willing to risk not being able to sell a game in over 170 countries? That is fucking insane. That is a lot of countries that could have and would have, clearly, because of the pre-orders, bought the game. So how much money are you willing to lose in order to get that data? It must make you realize how important data is to these companies and why they so desperately want it. It says, according to developer Sucker Punch, a single player can still be accessed without PSN. However, those who live in countries without PSN will not be given the choice to stay offline, frustrating many players. Taking to the Ghost of Tsushima subreddit, user ndrain93 said that they purchased Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut on Steam via a Kazakhstani account. However, as PSN isn't available in the region, they now say that their order has been refunded. They're not alone in this, with others in the replies also saying that Steam have sent them a refund. Yup, woke up to the same email today, says Reddit user Ace on Flames. I've been excited for this game so long I pre-purchased it as soon as it was available. I mean, if you Sony is the pro at killing their own hype, right? Like they have hype for some of their games coming to the PC platform because a lot of people just do not want to get a PS5. Why would you want to get a PS5 when you can play on, for all intensive purposes, the superior platform? Obviously, some people can't afford the PC aspect. I totally get that, and that's where consoles give them a similar experience. Great, that's what they exist for. But if somebody wants to play on PC and they have the ability to do so, they're going to do so. So forcing them to then try to play or connect onto PSN for whatever reasons that we can only just assume, but I gotta think it has to do with data. Why would you want to then lose sales just to force that? That doesn't make any sense. You are killing the hype for your game. You are literally nuking it before it even comes out, where clearly that was hype for it. Ghost of Tsushima is a fantastic game. I've played it on PS5. I love that game. Anybody who's ever talked to me about that game knows that it's a great game, and I think it's highly praisable. But the problem is Sony doesn't want to actually see it reach its full potential. They're more worried about getting your data and making up for what they lost on Helldivers. You know what I mean? Like you guys got to understand. They saw how many players was playing Helldivers. They saw how popular that game got, and they thought to themselves, oh my God, do we have a data gold mine? The moment we are able to enact this required change, we are going to be swimming in data and be able to sell it to everybody. Now they lost that opportunity, and they had to take the L on their face. So what are they trying to do now? They're trying to make it up with their other games that are also going to be potentially popular. They're not going to be as popular as, say, Helldivers was, but it's still going to be popular, or at least it was. But it looks like now they're willing to go for data so bad that they're not going to allow the sale of this game in those countries, regardless of the PSN requirements. So I'm sure they're trying to protect themselves from a potential lawsuit for people who don't have access to multiplayer, yet they were charged the full price. I'm sure that leads down a rabbit hole that not many companies want to go down, but still, you are killing your own game before it even comes out, man. Further still, Reddit user Fever says that they also received a refund despite having a PSN set up in another country. So if you want to play Ghost of Tsushima on PC in one of these blocked countries, you will need to make the purchase via a Steam account set up in a country that can access PSN. If you want to access the multiplayer, then you have to set up a PSN account in another region too, but at least you'll be able to experience a single player without one. So it looks like just a massive clusterfuck, and it's a clusterfuck that just doesn't have to exist. That's the great thing about all this. Like, none of this has to exist. You could just release the game without a PSN requirement, and you will be golden. You will get maximum amount of sales. People will praise your game. They will play it. They will talk about it. You'll get all the press you want. But man, you are so desperate for data. You are also extremely desperate to bolster your PSN numbers to your investors that you're willing to lose sales in order to do it, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever. I can only imagine how many sales they're going to lose by not releasing in these countries, but it looks like that doesn't matter. As long as they have your data, as long as they can sell your data, and as long as they can say, hey, look guys, our PSN is going up in subscriptions, we're amazing. That's all that matters to Sony at the end of the day, and that's what they're going to push on the gamers. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.